Okay, in a world that feels more divided than ever, we're always being told to, understand the other side. But what if that very act feels like you're betraying your own team? Today, we're jumping right into that paradox. When it comes to war and conflict, is understanding a strength or is it a trap?
Have you ever felt that? Seriously, that little voice in your head that says, hey, if I try too hard to see their point of view, am I weakening my own? Am I being disloyal? It's a really powerful, kind of confusing feeling, and it is the central mystery we are going to unpack right now.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. We see this play out in the real world all the time. You have academics who study extremist groups, and they get accused of being sympathizers. You get politicians who dare to work with the other party, and bam, they're branded as traitors. And journalists? Oh man, journalists who try to give a balanced report often get attacked from both sides. So what is really going on here?
Well, our first clue is found in something incredibly human, maybe the most powerful tool we have, storytelling. That feeling of betrayal, it's all tied up in the kinds of stories we tell ourselves to make sense of a chaotic world. This slide really breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have destructive narratives. Think of this as the summer blockbuster movie version of a conflict, right? It's pure good versus pure evil. We're the heroes, they're the villains, end of story. It's a zero-sum game. But on the other side, you have protective narratives. These are, well, they're more like a messy, complicated documentary. They admit that the world is complex, that there are flawed, complicated humans on all sides, and they try to find real-world reasons for conflict, not just, oh, they're evil. So why on earth are we so drawn to that simple good versus evil story? Well, for one, it just feels good, doesn't it? Having those clear moral lines gives us a sense of safety and certainty. It's also an amazing tool for getting people fired up and mobilized. And of course, nothing unites a group faster than a common enemy. But honestly, a big part of it is that it's just easier. It's way less mentally draining than wrestling with all that nuance and complexity.
Okay, so that's clue number one, the pull of those simple, powerful stories. Now, for clue number two, let's zoom out a bit, from our own heads to the very structure of our society. Let's talk about democracy's dilemma.
At the very heart of democracy, you've got this constant push and pull. On one side, you have pluralism. This is the core idea that a healthy society has to make room for lots of different legitimate points of view. That's how you get dialogue and compromise. But on the other side, you have anti-pluralism. And that's the belief that some ideas are just so dangerous, so wrong, that they don't get a seat at the table. The goal isn't to debate them, the goal is to defeat them. And here's the kicker. A healthy democracy can't just pick one. It actually needs both. Pluralism is what lets us all live together without tearing each other apart over our differences. But anti-pluralism, that's what gives us our moral backbone. It's how we as a society draw a line in the sand and say, nope, this right here is unacceptable. It's a really tough balancing act. And history shows us that the stakes are incredibly high. Just look at these two examples. In Germany's Weimar Republic, you could argue that too much pluralism, being open to too many ideas, failed to draw that hard moral line needed to stop the rise of Nazism. But then you look at the US civil rights movement. That was a case where an anti-pluralist stance, saying segregation is fundamentally illegitimate and not up for debate, was absolutely essential for justice and progress.
All right, we've looked at stories, we've looked at society. For our third and final clue, we're going to turn the lens inward. We're going into the funhouse mirror of our own minds, to the cognitive biases that literally shape how we see reality.
This is a big one. It's called motivated reasoning. And what it means is that our brains, without us even realizing it, tend to process information not to find the capital T truth, but to get to the conclusion we already want to believe. It's like our brain is a lawyer hired to defend our team, not a scientist trying to find the facts. It's a powerful and pretty much invisible force.
And this bias messes with our view of our opponents in some really predictable ways. We make attribution errors. When I mess up, it's because I was having a bad day. When they mess up, it's because they're a bad person. We cherry-pick evidence, only seeing the facts that confirm what we already think. We misattribute their motives, always assuming they have the worst intentions. And finally, we get this false polarization, where we blow up our differences and pretend we have nothing in common, when that's almost never true.
Okay, so let's recap. We have our three clues: the power of simple stories, the pressures of democracy, and our own biased brains. It's time to put all the pieces together, solve this mystery, and figure out a path forward.
So that feeling we started with, that feeling of betrayal when you try to understand the other side,
It's not just one thing. It's a potent cocktail. You've got the magnetic pull of a simple good versus evil story mixed with the very real democratic need to draw moral lines, all of it supercharged by our brain's built-in biases. All of these forces are pushing us towards sticking with our team, towards moral clarity, and pulling us away from all that messy nuance. That's why understanding can feel like betrayal.
So what in the world are we supposed to do about it? Well, we can start by being more aware of these forces and trying to break the cycle. First, just be honest with yourself about why you might be resisting understanding the other side. Is it to protect your group, to feel morally certain? Second, try to look for situational reasons for their behavior, not just chalking it up to them being bad people. Third, dig deeper. Look for shared values that might be hiding under all the policy disagreements. And finally, just practice taking their perspective. And remember the most important thing. Understanding is not the same as agreeing. You can understand a viewpoint without ever having to adopt it.
So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. Right now, think of a group you profoundly disagree with. Got one? Okay. Now, can you step outside of that conflict for just 1 second and name one single legitimate concern that you think they might have? The answer probably isn't going to change your mind about who's right or wrong, but it just might change the whole nature of the conflict itself.